Well, good evening, guys. How you doing? Good to see you. Got a few people here. Glad to see you could come in early. I can't believe another week's gone by. It is Thursday again. And good to see y'all. Let's see who we got here so far. We got Drone Shots first, as usual. Agent K is here. Trying to be first, but you know, you guys waited too long today. Jody, you were in here at noon. You should have stuck a message in there. You know, claimed your territory, man. Roosevelt, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Fly Natural. Bob Casey's here. Good to see you. And everybody's saying hi to each other. Drone Shots. Michael Pondamore, good to see you. Fly Natural, Pondamore, Drone Shots. Rick Halber's in the house, and Rick Halber's in the green room too. So we'll get to Rick in a second. I assume everybody can hear me and see me okay. Otherwise, I'd be seeing some notes to that effect in the chat, I think. Well, the weather down here has been gorgeous in the morning, and I've been able to actually get out every day and do a little flying, which is been terrific. As long as you get it done before 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, because it just gets hot and it's been very, very muggy. But that flight that I was playing in the introduction was from my AR wing that I got flying pretty good, and I took it out for a little flight. I think that was on Monday or Tuesday. I recorded that on the goggles DVR, but the AR wing running iNav worked really good. And speaking of iNav, actually had a reason to use what I call the "aw shit" switch this morning. I had upgraded the iNav in my Tyro 99 to 7-inch quad and took it off, and all of a sudden something happened to the video transmitter, and I had just static in my goggles. And normally what you'd have to do is disarm it and let it drop and go and figure out where the hell it was, because you really weren't watching it other than in the goggles. But being that it was iNav, I clicked the return to home switch and took my goggles off and didn't hear anything. And in a minute or two, I heard it, and back it came, and it landed 2 feet from the landing pad. So not bad for a non-DJI home-built drone to do a return to home and landing. So I guess without further ado, let me introduce Mr. Rick Halber. Wake up, Rick.
Hey, how you doing, Max?
Better than you, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I've never, it's like a contest, man, between you and Art to see who can have the most trouble getting a Velocidrone simulator to run on your computer.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I had it running on there once, and I took it off because I didn't know if I could run it or not. And it's been on here for a year, and then I just deleted it to make more room.
And now you're trying to put it back on.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I read I read the emails that you sent me, and you you moved a lot of your stuff onto that new hard drive that you bought. But
yeah, I've
did you
got
install?
everything moved. Yeah, I got everything moved over to the hard drive, and so then I'm just trying to reload the Velocidrone on. And what I get is when I hit the launch for the Velocidrone, it comes up, the page opens up, and then it says you're supposed to put in your password and username and the password. I put username, which is email, and then my password. I put the password in, and it says it's wrong. So I found a way of getting a new password, reset the password, do and that worked fine because it opens up another window for Velocidrone and lets me get in there. But when I go back to the launching page and do it, it says that it's not right. The password is
Ah,
wrong.
God, that's not something I've ever run into or
Yeah,
heard of
I
anybody
didn't think
running into.
it's something weird. I've been trying to talk to them all day, but
Good
they're
luck. Yeah, good.
yeah trying to find
Um,
the phone number for them and email them. They're still emailing me back and forth, and that they don't
well,
understand what I'm doing, what my problem is.
the only suggestion that I might have, and it's what I would do, is I would try to somehow start from scratch completely, because you know you got a new password, okay, that they gave you. So I would just delete Velocidrone, and I don't believe that Velocidrone actually installs as an app on the computer. I believe you just down, if I'm not mistaken, it just downloads this big folder and runs out of that folder. And
I was thinking of just buying a new one. It'd be
no, you
easier.
know, it's $20, and if you have a valid email and password, worst thing it should tell you is that this version of Velocidrone is licensed on a different computer. Do you want to put it on this computer and negate the license on the old computer? Because in their cleverness to keep people from sharing it, see,
Right.
or two people using it, they keep track of actually which device it's on. I found that out because I wanted to run it on my notebook, and I got the message. It says if you put it on your notebook, we're going to have to take away the rights to use it on your computer. And I said, no, leave it on the computer. That's where I'm going to use it. So I didn't bother. But you're not getting that message, huh?
No, I just said the email and password are not compatible.
Nah. Well, you might try just deleting it all, re-downloading it, and starting from scratch, and see if that. If not, they're going to have to help you. I wish I could.
Yeah, no, I've deleted it out 3 or 4 times
Oh well, then
and gone back, and end up doing the same thing. And when
that's
I got after I did that 4 or 5 times, I said, "Well, I got to talk to the professor."
yeah. Thanks. I wish I could help you with that one.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I got to talk to them, and they can sort it out. Or for $20, I don't need the headache. I'll just get a new one.
Yeah, but it's just the problem is, what if you
Yeah,
spend another $20 and have the same problem?
yeah, it's the principle of the thing. I should be able
Yeah.
to. Should be easy.
Yeah, I would hope so. Well, good luck. Let me know. Let me know. Drop me an
Yeah,
email.
I'll
Let me know
keep
how
working
you
on
make
it.
out with it.
Hopefully by Sunday.
Sunday, maybe we'll actually go flying it on Sunday. That'd be fun. Yeah. Hey, let me welcome Drone Days is in the house. How you doing, buddy? John Coopy, hi. How are you? And Tomas O'Sullivan under the
Hey,
name
Tomas.
Tomas Ariels. How you doing, buddy? Ray Kelly's in the house. Hi, Ray. Thanks for coming in. Mike Night Train is here, and BMAC is here in more ways than one. So there he is. Yes, you're on TV.
Oh my!
Hey,
Hey, Rick Halber. First time I've ever been on with you, bud.
How you doing?
How's it going, man?
All right.
How's everybody doing today?
doing fine, man. Doing
Well,
great.
real
Like I
good
said,
today.
Actually been getting to do some flying.
And you're in Florida too, Mitch?
Yeah, I'm in
How
Florida.
does that work,
Hot-
man? Because it's been hotter than blazes out there.
Well, it's been running in about 90 degrees here.
See, we're hitting like 99, 98 every day.
Yeah, traditionally it gets hotter up north than it is down here.
Well, I'm
it's
over here
muggy.
in Texas, so that's a whole different
Oh
world.
yeah, that's a whole different thing.
I tell
But
you what,
it,
though. Oh no, I try to get some flying done in the morning, and
exactly.
that's about at 11 o'clock. It's already like 91. I say, well, time to wrap this up.
Yeah, I usually go out to the park, and there's 3 or 4 old farts like me that go out there, in the morning and every morning and fly their little electric airplanes, and so I go out there and usually get out there about 8 o'clock and stay till about 10. Get 3 or 4 flights in on different things sometimes. So I'm starting to fly the airplanes as well, and so I split it between the airplanes and the drones.
That's what I'm saying, though. You've got some versatility there with the fixed wing stuff, at least. I don't know if they run hot in any way. They're up
No.
for such a short time. I didn't think so.
No, none of the temperature's not really been a factor.
Yeah.
Although I did have a little adventure today where I lost my video stream stopped from my Tyro 129, and I don't know what that was all about. Hey, look who's here.
That is always a thrill.
Look who's here. Hey, headphones,
afternoon.
man, we have moved to an entirely new level here.
I'm just trying to disturb the family a little less. That's all.
Actually, it's much better for streaming because you end up hearing better. Although
Okay.
we still get, I'm hearing a little bit of echo or something.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Is that coming out of your cell phone or something?
1 2 1 2. Better?
No, it's when I talk. Yeah, that's better. It's gone now. Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. Well,
What's-
that's what live streaming is all about. None of us are broadcast professionals here.
I'll learn
in-
this stuff.
In reality. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Rick.
How you doing, Carlos?
How you feeling? You look good.
I'm feeling real good today.
You look good too.
Yeah, you do. You
5
look
days,
terrific there.
5 days in a row now.
Say about 5 days in a row.
Yeah,
What did you do 5 days in a row? I'm sorry.
feel good.
Felt
Oh, okay,
good.
perfect. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I missed the first part.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx
Carol.
myself.
And hot in Texas, huh?
Oh, yeah. Where you at, Carlos?
Queens, New York.
Man, a homie.
Yeah.
Another New Yorker. Oh, man.
Wait, you New York?
Originally Brooklyn. And
Oh,
but
okay.
I lived in Far Rockaway when I was just growing up.
Gotcha. Not the
Yeah,
same Far Rockaway.
Yeah, out there by the beach.
Yeah.
I just came across a dude. He lives not far from Queens. In fact, no, he is in Queens. His channel name is Drone Psyche. And he puts up, they're kind of long videos, but he does a pretty good job of showing the area there.
Right.
Kind of makes me a little homesick sometimes.
Drone Days is from New York. He's upstate.
Is he?
Yeah,
okay.
he's up
Yeah,
there.
Ray Kelly's up there. Ray's in New York.
Ray Kelly's in Long Island, New York.
He's
Suffolk
in Long
County.
Island. I
Long
live in
Long
Island.
Island. Long Island.
Long Island.
Where in Long Island?
I lived in Selden for a bit.
Okay, that's out there.
Yeah.
All All right, I
So,
won't bore you
Carlos-
anymore, Mitch. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right, Carlos. You
I'm not
know,
sure
I
if you
watch a
had
lot of
anything.
these other guys' discussions live stream, and sometimes you don't hear from the host for quite a while. And I said, "What am I doing wrong? I'm working too damn hard at this. I need to just get all these guys in here, light up a cigar and let them go at it."
Anybody live by Drone Bum?
I mean, I'm like 20 minutes, 25 minutes from him.
I know.
Yeah.
I think him and Ray Kelly get together recently, or am I dreaming?
No,
Yeah,
yes,
they did
Drone
a
Bum
video.
and Rain Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arizona AZ Drone Dude, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for coming in. So anyway, I want to show you guys in my effort to keep you entertained as a host. I want to show you what happened on my little flight today when I had to
Oh,
click
that's
the aw
terrible
the
feeling.
aw shit switch. Yeah, and
How far?
the problem is the video. Shit. Oh shit is right. I got to find the video. What did I do with the video?
How far were you from yourself? Not
I
too.
wasn't that far. You'll see. And,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was kind of early on, and I should have known. I should have known because is this it here? No, that's not it. Here I am talking. Keep talking, guys.
So it was a quad problem, not your goggle problem.
It was a problem I think with the video transmitter, and it was on that Tyro, the Tyro 129.
That's a 7-inch too. I think, right? 7-inch.
Yeah, that's a 7-inch. And
Did
here,
it
let me-
survive the fall?
No, it returned to home.
Oh,
And
okay,
landed.
okay. Oh, okay.
And it was the prettiest damn landing. Unfortunately, what happened was the goggles, as soon as it lost the signal from the drone, it stopped
Oh, it
recording.
turned off.
So it didn't record the whole trip back.
All right.
And I'll be damned if I can find that stupid thing. So what I'm going to have to do, guys, I'm going to have to take my goggles, because I put it somewhere on my hard drive, so that this is why old age is such a terrible thing.
It's not under a folder called recent.
I got too many folders, so I gotta pull the SD card out of the goggles and get my little SD card reader and plug it into the computer and play it for you right off the SD card, because I don't know where I moved it to, and that would be this one.
Oh, this would be the
Okay.
uncut
So
version.
now we go over to here.
Raw footage.
And
Look
we
at all
do
that
this.
stuff.
So this is here. Let me get myself out of the way here.
It looks like
So
Top Gun screen there.
Yeah, doesn't it? So anyway, this is has got all of the. Now it's sitting there, and I was waiting to make sure I had satellites and everything. If you look down in the lower right, showed you. I put it in acro mode, so I'm in acro mode, and I take off. And this is, remember, this is that 17-inch Tyro, and start flying around a little bit. Let me make it bigger so everybody can see it, and I'll come back to you guys in a minute.
Yeah, you don't need us in there.
And some guy had landed his airplane there, so I went out and checked that out. And actually wasn't this flight, even though it says 2 minutes, this was the second flight. First flight I flew line of sight just because I had upgraded the software. I wanted to check it out. And right there it went
whoa.
boom. Okay, and the video just started playing itself again. So that wasn't. Now where am I? I am right here. Okay. God, I love all these buttons.
Yeah.
So what happened was I wasn't real high. I was not too far above the treetops at all.
That's what I said to the cop.
I see static. Yeah, I see static in my goggles, and I have a switch, return to home switch on a transmitter. So I just clicked the return to home switch, and I couldn't hear the drone. It was too far away for me to hear it. But I basically had to have faith in it because I knew it was still flying, and I had a little glitch in that video transmitter during the first flight too. So I knew there was a little something wrong, but I knew that that I had this safety. So I clicked the switch. I took off my goggles, and I couldn't see it anywhere. You know, it's tough to find one of these little things when they're because it climbed up to about 150 or 200 feet. So when it's up there in the sky far away, it's hard. Anyway, I didn't hear it for about a minute or 30. It seemed like a minute. It might have been 5 seconds. And I start listening, and all of a sudden I hear it, and then I see it, and it flies right back, right over where it took off. It does the same exact thing a Mavic does. It turns around and faces the direction it was when it took off, and then it starts coming down. And it landed so gently and so beautifully, 2 feet from the orange landing pad, which amazed me because this doesn't have any camera assist on the bottom to try to, do precision landings. This is just a basic GPS landing.
I was going to say that. Yeah, it's got GPS then.
Yeah, but it was just using the GPS. It didn't have any sensors or cameras or any of the stuff that the Mavics have. But it landed 2 feet from the thing.
I think I know the answer to this. You still have to disarm it, right, at the end?
Well, the literature says that it's supposed to sense that it's not descending anymore and shut down.
Do you remember?
I
Reflex?
didn't wait to see. I disarmed it when it hit the ground. And
Oh,
the reason,
okay.
Yeah, one time when I did that return to home, it did shut down, and one time it didn't shut down. I would rather that it not shut down,
Right.
because I don't want it to maybe make a mistake and think it landed 100 feet up in the air and shut down. I would rather be the guy that shuts it down. So
Yeah, no.
So and I was hoping to have a goggles video with the whole return to home procedure. I do have some other goggles video of what it looks like on that thing. Okay, here we are.
Just so you know, Mitch, the Ready Set Drone, what's his name? Kelly, I believe.
Kelly Shores, yeah, he's in.
He joined your
Oh, hey
chat
Kelly,
there.
how you doing? That's Ray Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, Ready Set Drone. Hey, how you doing, Kelly? Good to see you.
Kelly and Ray Kelly.
Thanks
Doing,
for
Kelly?
stopping in. Good. While I walker. I mean, I guess that's work. You type like I do. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, so that was a little excitement, but it makes me want to. I have the GPS rescue on most of my quads that run Betaflight, and the GPS rescue. I know I've explained this before, but I'll go over it real quick again. What it does is it doesn't have all the navigation features of iNav, and it doesn't have the auto land that iNav has. But what it will do for you is it will start the same return to home procedure. It will climb to a predetermined altitude that you set. It will turn around. It will start flying back to the home point. And that's where the difference ends. If in Betaflight, if you use the GPS rescue and don't do anything, the quad will not come straight down. It will start descending 200 meters away from the home point. It'll start descending, and it'll keep descending until it hits the ground. Okay, so it's not designed to be an auto. Now, it may be down the road that they actually will put an auto land in Betaflight, but this is where iNav took off. Now, the purpose of the thing in Betaflight, it sounds like it's silly, but it isn't, because if you do lose your goggles or the quad fail-safes because you flew it too far away, instead of just dumping it where it happens, it will turn around and it will start to fly back. And as it starts to get closer to you, chances are you'll get your goggles back.
You can take over again.
Or your radio signal, and then you turn off the GPS rescue and you're flying again. The idea of the GPS rescue is get the quad in the neighborhood at least.
Right. Makes
if
sense.
if you lose your goggles and never get them back, you leave it in GPS rescue mode as it's flying back, and you turn your mode switch to stabilized, to angle mode. Okay, you take your goggles off, and you start looking for the quad, and pretty soon you'll see it. You'll hear it. It'll be coming right towards you, and starting at 200 yards out, it'll start to descend. At that point, once you see the quad, you turn off the return to home, and now you can fly it line of sight. You got a stabilized quad that you can fly line of sight and land it, hopefully, instead of crashing it. So I think that's a good idea. And the little GPS units only cost like $15. So if you got an FPV drone and you're running beta flight, it's really almost a no-brainer to put those little GPS antennas on them and enable the GPS rescue. So that was a little bit of excitement this morning.
I thought you were going to show us the video of it coming back.
Oh yeah, I gotta find that.
Mr. Ed, aka Speedo Tick, has joined us.
Oh God, you reminded me. I had somehow managed to actually get that mental image out of my head, and now,
well, here's another one.
Bang! There it is, back in my head. Just when I thought I was out, you dragged me back in. You know?
I'm sure you heard of a name Drone Pool. There's a guy that
Yes,
flies.
I
You
saw
saw that? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
I saw. Yeah, and I know what we're in for.
Possibly
too. We're
more
in
to
for
come.
another challenge. Anyway, this is the flight, and if you look right up in the middle of the screen there, you see I got 16 satellites. I'm at 200 feet altitude. That's on the right-hand side of the vertical bars. On the left-hand side of the vertical bars is my forward speed, and down here right at the bottom, which you can't see because my monitor's cutting it off, it says hold. Okay,
there it is.
And I put it in altitude and position hold to test that, and it's sitting there at about 205, 204. It's holding its altitude pretty good, but what I didn't realize that at this point, when you have it in altitude hold, it works like a Mavic. So you have to have your throttle stick in the center. When the throttle sticks in the center, it won't climb and it won't descend. And then if you pull it below center, it'll start descending. If you put it above center, it'll start climbing. So that was something I didn't know. This was one of my earlier flights. But if you saw what happened, it actually
just turned.
Yeah, see, it says right here, it says en route to home, see? And if you look right next to the little house, you see 110, 98, 80, that's the distance from the home point. And the arrow, now the little arrow turned into a checkered flag, so that means that I'm home. And now it says landing, and if you look at the altitude on the right-hand side, 140, 30, and down it comes, and the mode down at the lower right says RTH, which is return to home.
Man, that's busy.
The thing, well, I actually have a 3 different OSD screens, and I have a switch on the transmitter that I can switch to this one. I can switch to one that shows me all my PIDs and everything for auto tuning, and I have one that just has the battery. That's it, just the 2 or 3 items way at the bottom. But there it was. It landed, and this is a drone with a bottom-mounted battery, so it landed on a battery and it tipped over just a tiny little bit, which was terrific.
Nice. Now, I didn't realize. Did you disarm?
I don't remember. I didn't pay attention. But like I say, I don't particularly care if it disarms or
Right.
if it doesn't disarm. But,
Real quick, Mitch, we got joined by Mr. Baduga FPV.
Baduga, how you doing?
That's
And Michael
unusual. He's
McReynolds is
usually
here.
sleeping by
McReynolds.
now.
Stingray Aerial Solutions is here. Speedo himself is here. Love my drones. Did I miss anybody else? I don't think so. I think I said hi. We got 22 people in here, so I hope I've caught everybody. But
Yeah, for the
you know
most
what?
part.
It's sometimes a train wreck is entertaining too. And that's
I guess it could be.
a NASCAR crash is entertaining, and Ed's live streams, are entertaining. More power to him.
Hey, if we can talk Ed into hooking up his SkyDroid, would you let him fly on your channel?
Sure.
Because he
Absolutely.
just got the Tinyhawk too, so maybe.
Oh, hell yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right, let's see if we can motivate him now. That was just planting
All
a seed.
But there is a caveat here.
Uh-oh.
There is a caveat.
Oh no, he will be dressed fully. I'm
Pants.
sure.
Pants are not an option. See, they're encouraging him. Look, Baduga, Speedo time.
EBR, what's up?
Oh man. Jaybird is here. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Oh wait,
No
I have something to
Speedo
say to
going.
Jaybird real quick. So
Okay.
part of the deal was I buy, I get Ed the Tinyhawk, but Jaybird now has to somehow get in touch with Ed because he has to get him some extra batteries, and I'm hoping maybe he can throw in some props. So hook up with Ed. Love my drones, Jaybird. That's it. I'm done.
Those. All I can tell you about the props on a Tinyhawk 2 is don't. Whoa.
Fuzzy.
Me. There you go.
There you go.
Logitech. That's their idea of autofocus.
Hey, Carlos,
Yes, sir.
on that Tinyhawk 2, will it work with the same equipment for the Tinyhawk, the original one? Like the transmitter?
You mean are you talking
yeah.
about the ready to fly or just any
No,
control?
okay, I've got a Tinyhawk, and
Yeah.
it'll work with that, with the transmitter and the goggles. And
Now
all that
your
good stuff?
Tinyhawk is not the starter kit. It was the
Yeah,
actual.
no.
You're using a transmitter, regular transmitter.
Okay, well, I'm using a transmitter that came with the Tinyhawk.
Oh, so
Then-
he has
then,
the ready to fly. It won't
yeah.
work.
Yeah, you got to. No, that won't work. You need to
Okay.
get you need to get a big
I need
boy
to get
transmitter.
I need to get a real
Yeah,
radio.
Get a big boy radio, and get one of these like the Jumper or the Radio Master. They're cheap and they're incredible.
Really? Define
Yeah.
cheap.
Under 50.
Oh, that's not
$150
bad.
bucks.
Maybe another 20 bucks for
the
batteries.
the Radio Master T16S is the one to get. It's like $139 in it, and it works like some of these $1,000 Futabas and Spectrum
This is good
radios.
to know, man. See, because that's always been kind of intimidating to me. Is some of those transmitters can get pretty pricey.
Oh yeah, and all the big guys, Joshua Bardwell, these guys that are all using these radios because of what they do. They're incredible. So before you buy it, come on Sunday night. We'll talk a little more about that and make sure we steer you in
Sunday
the right,
night
in the
always
right
has to be
direction.
clear with the boss, and she always says no.
Oh, sorry. At any rate, Radio Master T16S is the radio I would get right now.
Let me.
And it's called Radio Master, and it's brand new, and I don't think anybody has stock. They might, but it will be in very shortly. Jody says, "Oh hell, I just got the Futaba for $2,000." British friend of mine used to say, "Jody, pull on the other one, mate. It's got bells on it."
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's only $139.
And I was going to tell
Very
you,
cool.
on the Tinyhawk 2, I gave up trying to use turtle mode because all it does is throw props. Every time you try turtle mode, the props go flying. I got tired of that, so I don't do that.
Turtle
anymore.
mode being, I guess, something slow, huh?
No, turtle mode is called turtle mode because when the thing lands in the ground
Oh.
upside down, there's a mode. It's called flip over after crash, but the nickname of it is turtle mode because, like a turtle, when he gets stuck on his back, he tries to flip over. So what it does is it allows some of these props to spin backwards, and you can spin any pair of two. So you can spin it to do this or this or this, by moving your stick, and you can flip it over. But every time I do it, one of these, that's how come you notice I have two
Different,
black
yeah.
props and two red props, because two of the red props have gone into that black hole where all props eventually go. Disappeared from somewhere in my house, but have disappeared from the face of the earth, never to be seen again.
Something else I can see a use for that too is we've got these ridiculously tall pine trees where I'm at. They're like 90 feet. And the pine needles are like that long. I could see, I've already lost a drone or two up in them. And I could see that feature would be really good for at least getting you the chance to maybe flip the drone and get it out of the tree.
There's an upside and a downside. The downside, if one of those needles got caught in one of the props, you could burn up you'd burn up an no, not just go there, but you burn up an ESC and a motor. Trying, it's not worth it unless there's no other way to get it down.
I was going to say, if it's 90 feet up, I ain't worried about burning it up.
Yeah, you can try it with a little blip. I got a quad stuck in a tree once. By the time I got it out of the tree, the props were almost all just down to the nub. It was fabulous.
Just wait for a windy day.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Metro Drones, $10 super chat. Thank you,
Excuse
sir.
me.
I appreciate that.
Agent
Add
K.
some color to my chat.
Hey,
room.
Bird. Hey, man. Didn't see you in there.
Yep, Jaybird's going to
Everybody
take
say
care
hi to
of Ed
Bill
with the batteries.
Say
What's
hi
up,
to
Metro?
Bill at Metro Drones. And so I don't know if you guys are interested or not, but you seem to be interested in my adventures. So
I wish this would show up. Can you see it? No.
There it is.
There it is. Oh,
There
look
it
at that
is.
one.
This is I showed you the pieces of this last Sunday. This is with everything in it. It's about 250 grams.
Wow.
Okay. And it when I say everything in it, this has I gotta show you.
Is that where the coffee and donuts come out of?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's incredible. What I want to do is I want to show you guys this, but first I want to show you a couple of pictures.
I thought you were going yeah.
Cramming everything I crammed into this airplane was like took an act of Congress. Okay, here's
Apparently nothing got done. Just kidding.
yeah. There's a whoops. What am I doing?
That's a schematic.
Okay, showing you. Yeah, that's the schematic for the flight controller. But I thought it would circle through. That's the actual flight controller, and the problem was there's just about no room for this flight controller inside of the thing. So what I had to do was I had to figure out a way to install it in this airplane where everything was soldered to the flight controller first. So if you notice, if you look at all the wires, and this is what it looked like right before I put it in, and you have the big battery lead on top with the big yellow XT60 on the right. On the left, you see the little XT30. That goes to the ESC, to the motor control. The little plug on top of that actually is the signal for the speed control, the servo. All the other wires, some of them go to the camera, they go to the VTX, they go here and there and everywhere, but there would have been no way to cram this thing into that tiny little hole in the drone and then try to solder this stuff up in the drone. And there wasn't room to put these connectors, these plugs where you plug a servo lead down on top of. So if you see this little pigtail right by my head there, I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
See that pigtail there? That's where 3 servos plug in. And so I had to actually build this whole mess before I put it in the airplane.
For placement.
And then before I put it in the airplane, I wanted to test it. So I had everything hooked up, everything plugged in. That is the ESC, the speed controller for the motor. I didn't have the receiver hooked up at this time. There's the camera and the lead that it went to. I didn't even have the ES. Anyway, I had all this stuff working on the workbench first before I put it in the airplane. And here I had the receiver hooked up. There's a little video transmitter over on the right above my head. I hadn't had that hooked up, but I managed to get everything working, and it took me like 2 days to get this thing ready to put into the airplane. So what I want to show you is what it's like to cram 10 pounds of shit into a 5-pound bag, because that's what it was like doing this. So let me get my little cell
See
phone
that?
cam going here.
5 pound sausage in a 1 pound skin.
Yeah, exactly right. So
See that at the beach
now,
sometimes.
let me get my. There it is. There's my little portable webcam. I love this thing. And I'm going to get the little airplane here. And hopefully I can maneuver this around where you can hear me and see. So what you've got in this thing is you've got a little hatch right up top here, and that's where the GPS module sits in that hatch. And when I take this hatch off, down in there is that flight controller that you saw. Let me get a little light on the subject here. There we go. There's the flight controller down in there, and you had to. Some of the wires had to go this way, and some of the wires had to go this way. But I had to work that thing down in there, and I used that Velcro with the plastic Velcro, and it snaps in there. So if I have to take this out, I can get it out too. But I hope I don't have to. And then the GPS module just goes into this little thing, and then down here in the bottom there's another hatch, and down in here is the servo for the elevator back there, and down right there under my finger is the receiver. See the receiver there? And these are the wires and plugs that go to the electronic speed control, which is Velcroed to the side wall over here. And the servos all plug in to this pigtails that I showed you. There's 3 of these pigtails, and all that crams into there, and this little latch kind of keeps it all in. And then up in the front, the antenna for the R9 long range receiver is a T antenna, and that's just right here. And then this, of course, is the battery compartment, and where you plug the battery in. And the VTX and camera are right up there in the nose. And the little antenna just comes right out of the top there. And that's a 350 milliwatt VTX too, Carlos.
Nice.
So this thing ought to get some range. And this is that new little 1200 TV line, 1200 TVL CADX nano camera. The thing. So this thing has got all the same stuff in it as any of the big flying wings or any of the other airplanes that fly with iNav, and it weighs 250 grams. I can put 2 lithium-ion 18650 cells in here and run it on 2S.
That's pretty light.
3,500 milliamps. Okay. That's 3.5 amp hours of battery. At cruise, this little motor draws about an amp. Okay, so you do the math. If I have 3.5 amps for an hour, and I'm averaging, even if I'm averaging 2 amps, that's an hour and a half plus of flying time on this thing. And that's a little 3-inch prop for 3S, and it uses a 5-inch prop for. So it's going to be interesting, and I'll take some videos of it. But I mean, it's weightless. It's virtually weighs nothing, and
Nice.
I just finished it today. Got all the iNav stuff programmed, and hopefully, if it's calm, I'll have it out tomorrow morning, and we'll take it for a little flight. So that's thought you guys might want to.
Mr. BMAC, Ed Love My Drones is asking you, what do you think about FPV so far?
Well, if I can keep my drone off the ceiling and the wall, I think it's great.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't hit a ceiling fan, which I'm very grateful for.
Okay. That's a plus.
You know, I'm just.
But are you having fun?
In fact, I've had this thing now for 2 months, and I just charged it up and started it the other day, like 2 days ago. And 'cause I've been just scared to death of this thing, and I need to do this. So I finally did it, and yeah, I mean, you know,
takes
hard.
practice. Don't get discouraged.
Oh no! I'm
discouraged.
planning on getting into it. You know, it can be a drain on the budget, but then again, I'm looking at, well, geez, $750 for the smart controller. Yeah, no, well, you know, I could probably get a lot of FPV going with $750 instead.
Yes, you can.
Most certainly.
Take it out. Ed says take it outside. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Trees.
Trees, yeah, up on the roof.
That's why I mentioned
Make
trees
sure you got
earlier.
Sure you got
Open
a nice
fields.
tall ladder. Although Joshua Bardwell had a video that he put out today about 12 different ways to get a quad out of a tree, including some things that look like cannons that you shoot. like the Green Arrow, man. You know where the thing tows a line behind it, and they shoot.
Yeah.
They shoot this thing, and they get it over the top of the tree, and then they get two guys, and they start pulling
Yank.
from each end of the line, yanking it to get to shake the tree. But
And
I
can
didn't
hear
watch the
noise it
video.
makes,
But
and then, oh yeah, is that a cop car pulling up? Wonder what I'm shooting at. Oh, this is gonna go well.
yeah. Pondamore says potato gun. Yeah, no, there's all kinds of different tools. He spent a bunch of money buying all these things, and I didn't get a chance to watch.
A rope and a
17
weight.
good ways to get a quad over a tree and 2 bad ones, says EBR. Yeah. A dog tennis ball cannon, says Jody.
Like the ones that have the baseball fields, they shoot the T-shirts, something like that. Whoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is something along those lines. I got one quad stuck in a tree, just once. Of course, I don't. I try to avoid the situations, which is killing me because I've become a timid flyer, and I really don't want to be a timid flyer. So,
You know, we have a
But I
nickname
did-
for you, right?
no, what
God.
is it?
Driving Miss Daisy. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. That's all right.
Ed came up with that one, just for the record.
I'll show you guys. I mean, I don't post every flight that I have. I just don't. I have hundreds of videos of flights that I just don't
Yeah,
post. And,
same thing.
because that's what I do. It's my hobby. It's for fun. But I'm gonna have to do one where I actually dive down through trees and do all that crap because I do
One
it
time.
occasionally.
And that's kind of what I want to try to do too. You know, I see all this stuff and I go, man, that'd be pretty cool to do that. Pretty like I'm going to lose a drone real quick too.
It is, and if you can do it on a simulator, you should be able to get somewhat close in
Oh,
real
come
life.
on,
And
man!
I
I've
can
seen
do-
you mess with that simulator. There's no air. There's no wind. There's
there's physics. There's
no
physics
birds
that,
there that are going to take me out. Come on.
You can put wind in whatever you want in there.
yeah, you can make it as however you want, but it is pretty realistic on the controls. And
I've been watching that simulator you had. It's pretty cool.
yeah, and I can dive and do all that stuff. I just when I have the drone up in the air, I say, well, let's not get it stuck up in a tree because unlike the simulator, it doesn't start over, it doesn't come immediately back to the landing pad, waiting for me. You have to go get it. So the one
Yeah.
time, I got my an office park that's near my house, Carlos, and that where I flew that little 3-inch Tyro 79 there. And this was a year ago. I was just getting started, and nervous as hell, and still, you remember how you were when you first started, Carlos. You felt like you were just
the
hanging
beginning.
on to something that was completely out of control.
Right.
and you're hanging on for dear life. You
It's
know,
controlling you.
just panicked, trying to avoid hitting everything that seems to keep coming your way. You know, that's the way it is when you first start.
Yeah.
And sure enough, into a tree. Now, it was only about 20 feet up, but there was no way for me to get it. And so I'm trying to run the motors, and I'm hearing zip, 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 and leaves are flying. I mean, I'm giving this tree a haircut with this thing. So couldn't get it out of the tree. So I'm out there by myself. It's a Sunday morning. There's nobody around. And I said, what the hell am I going to do? I had a cooler in my trunk of my car. And in the cooler, I had one of those ice packs, big blue, plastic things that you put in the
Bricks.
freezer and they get cold. Yeah.
Big glue.
So it's the only thing I had. So I went and I got it. And I don't know what luck or divine providence was on my side. I took that thing and gave it an underhanded heave up into the tree, and it hit the drone, and the drone and the blue thing fell down onto the ground. First shot. First try.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I believe you. That's some luck.
I
talking
couldn't
there.
believe it. I couldn't believe it. I said, drones and trees, hey, no problem. Now, as long as you got your magic blue ice cube, because it must have had a drone magnet in it. It went right, and I'm not that accurate. Like a basketball player, forget it, But I mean, it's amazing. I was hoping I'd just even hit the tree, let alone hit the drone. But no, it came down. All the props. You should have seen the props on it. Carlos, you know what props look like after you chew them up. Trying
I
to
did
get out
the
of a
same
tree.
thing with the drone recently. Can I show you in a share? It's only a
Sure.
minute.
No, go
It's
ahead.
only the little one, but I can relate.
all right.
And it was 30 feet up, and I had to throw. It's a chemical that we use for fish tanks, and I threw it at it.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah, took a few, but real quick.
Well, how
Is it
high were you? I wasn't that
About
high.
20,
That was the
20
good
you'll
news.
see, 20 some odd feet. It was up there. Taking chances with the trees.
Is this the Tinyhawk?
This is
Or
the
the
Mobula
Mobula?
6. Yeah.
Boy, you guys are hooked on that Mobula 6, aren't you?
It's really easy to just take out, go in a park. There's people around. Nobody bothers you.
That's
And it takes
the
a beat.
purpose.
No.
The purpose of this little 250 gram. Whoop! There you go.
Yeah, but I kept
Oh,
it
you
up.
kept that one.
I saved it.
That's why I wanted to build this little tiny airplane, because you can fly this pretty much anywhere. It doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't weigh anything, and
It's coming.
yet it's long range, and it
There it is. Yep.
there you go.
And I'm stuck in the tree, and that's
I
about
saw the
20
tree.
some odd feet up.
I saw the tree reach out and grab it, man. It wasn't your fault.
I same thing. But anyway, I can relate. We call those tree landings.
Yeah. Well, you don't see a lot of them on YouTube, but that's because people don't post those videos. But the same thing with the guys smashing their in these concrete parking garages, flat out into a concrete post with a $400 GoPro stuck on the front.
Yeah.
Pieces.
One of those guys, I don't know if it was one of the Rotor Riot guys. I don't know. It was like not Mr. Steele, but one of the other ones. One of these guys I saw on some video said that he has destroyed 40 GoPro cameras. 40.
Well, I guess he can afford it.
I was gonna say,
Well,
there's
they
a
buy
bucket
the
there.
insurance. They go to Best Buy. They go to
Oh, the
Best Buy. They
50,
buy the cameras and they buy the insurance. And for $60, you bring them the pieces and you get a new one.
Okay.
What a
It's
deal.
not a bad deal.
No.
And
Yeah.
evidently there aren't enough drone guys to cause them to change their policy, because if there was a lot of drone guys breaking their GoPro, but they build these things as action cameras. So is it an action camera or not, GoPro?
Yeah.
Put your money where your
Yeah.
mouth is. You're telling us how rugged these things are. So if I happen to put one on the front of my quad and crash into a concrete post in an underground parking garage at 130 miles an hour, I expect your camera to survive.
Makes
Did
sense
you read?
to me.
Did you read what Ed wrote?
I post all crashes. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true, Ed. I agree.
Did you read the
I
rest?
agree. That's
Unless
flying
flying Miss Daisy. Yeah.
You know we like messing with you, Mitch, but we still love you.
I'll
We
tell
just
you,
like picking on you.
I've told you that if you have good friends and you're not busting on each other, they're not that good. They're not that good.
Women don't get that in the beginning. When
No,
you
they don't. They
Well, I remember my friends and I would insult each other, and she goes, "Why do you guys do that? It's just what we do. It's
Carlos,
just what we do." Yes, sir.
we used to call those rank out sessions, man. I mean,
Even that, yeah.
they're classic.
Your mama jokes. You go
There
back
you
and
go.
forth.
Don't get me started. It's gonna get ugly.
I like the one. Your mama's so fat she was wearing a Malcolm X T-shirt, and a helicopter tried landing on her.
oh,
Dun dun. Psh, that's it. All right, Mitch. I'm sorry.
all right. Are you sure? So is Ed? What's
Ed,
this?
I don't know what Ed's doing. I wanted him to live fly, but
No,
to get
but we
him to
got another.
freaking.
We got another visitor here who's ready.
I wonder who that
Guess
is.
who?
Ah,
His
Hey,
Holiness Pope Art the First.
Pope.
Hi, Art.
Hello,
Good evening, Art. How are you, sir?
Rick.
how's it going, Art?
I'm doing good. Mitch,
Yes,
good to be here. How's the
Good to
weather
see you.
down there?
it's great. It's been the best week we've ever had. No, every morning, 2-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow.
And it's been just great up until 10:30, and then it starts to get muggy and hot. But I've been out every morning. Every morning I've been out at the park
Yeah.
flying and having a ball. So,
Yeah.
no, it's been good.
It's about like here, the mornings will be calm out there, and then in the afternoon, the winds start kicking up, and that's when it starts getting hot. Hot
You know-
and dry.
You know when it starts getting windy? The minute I start plugging a battery into my little quad. And it's the strangest thing.
I thought it was.
Well, they have a
when
name for that.
started
They have a
talking.
name for that, Carlos.
What is it called?
There's a name for that. Auto wind.
It must be. It's like,
No, it's not just you. It's we've had that in our RC hobby for 50 years.
oh, okay.
Called
So
auto wind. Yeah, the minute you turn your transmitter on, boom, wind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just yeah.
Mhm.
I've taken video of it just to prove my
Yeah.
point. Like, all right, it's quiet. I'm plugging it in.
Boom.
Later, Jaybird.
Oh, Jaybird's out. Yeah.
I see you, Jay Bird. Take care.
Hey, Mitch, I got to bow out too, man. I got my dogs down there raising hell already.
Ah,
All right. Well, good to see you, Brian. Thanks for coming in, and we got
Sure,
to
Brian.
move you
I always
along
enjoy it,
this
man.
We got to
Continue.
move you along this FPV path a little.
Continue
yeah.
to fly.
And,
Don't give up and just
Hey,
keep at
Brian,
it.
Yep.
Yeah, Rick.
Brian, before you go, I've got an extra controller if you're interested.
Yeah, I saw your message on there. I answered you on that. Like I said,
Oh, okay, I didn't
I'm
see.
just starting on this, so I'm not gonna start getting a bunch of stuff yet. But it's good to know these things. That's why I like listening to Mitch's channel a lot.
Good.
Yeah, that's all I got started.
I've already got that transmitter book now, so I know what I'll be looking for when I'm ready to. Once I get
Okay.
past this.
Yeah, I've got it sitting around here. It's brand new.
Have you
Sounds
ever
good.
played
Is that
video?
the-
Go ahead, Mitch.
Is that the T16 that you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I use. That's the radio that I use.
Jaybird, BMAC, have you ever played video games?
Oh yeah,
Which unit have you used? Xbox, PlayStation?
PlayStation, but we're talking old, man.
Well, what I'm
Uh,
getting at is they have controllers in that kind of shape also.
Yeah.
Just so you
Oh,
know.
okay. Okay.
A little
know
bigger. They're definitely bigger. I can show you next time. I know you got to go for the doggies, but they have other shaped controllers. Mitch
the-
is old school. He's a
There's a-
creature of
there-
habit.
There's another thing that's coming out too, and I don't even know if I should be bringing this up here. But next month, Microsoft is releasing that flight simulator.
Yeah.
I don't expect to come up for air for like a month or two if it's that good from what I've heard. So I don't know. Y'all might
I've
not
been
hear from me
following.
for a while.
I've been following that,
Yeah.
Brian, and it appears. If I was in the flight simulator software business,
Yeah.
I'd be looking for a new line of work right now. When Microsoft released that thing, is so tremendous. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched the sim community, flight sim community, is huge, and they
Really?
have huge. Not only is it huge, but there are guys in their basement that build cockpits
Yep.
like real airliners.
Yep.
I mean,
Wow.
there are companies that make all kinds of USB devices that look exactly like the avionics in a Boeing 747 and have the computer screens and the switches, and they all go into these monster computers. And there's actually guys that have bought the nose section of a salvaged airplane, cut it up, drug it home, and built a real friggin' airline cockpit. And then in front of them, they have like 3 projectors, and these big projectors on the ceiling, and curved screens that go completely around them. And the 3 projectors,
So it's immersive. It's immersive.
immersive.
Wow.
It's incredible, and the detail and the stuff in these cockpits, they actually it's like taking real flights. They get in these things and they play at it, and they have a company that provides air traffic control, live air traffic control
Wow.
simulations to these guys when they're flying on their simulated missions. So here you are. Now I don't know
Somebody's getting paid.
what kind of a I hate to say it, but because I think it's fabulous, but what kind of a nerd of an antisocial person is going to spend $30,000 to $50,000 building himself the almost
rich
real
one.
replica of the nose of an airplane in his basement, so that he can say, "Listen, dear, after dinner, I think I'm going to take the Airbus A350 and fly to France, and that flight's going to take 4 hours, so I'll see you when I'm done." Walks down in his basement, climbs into this simulator, and goes through the motions of loading passengers, getting pushed back from the gate, taxiing out. All the time, talking to a live human being whose job it is to follow his flight and give him the appropriate air traffic control commands.
Oh,
And
Unreal.
and he talks to the controller. Now, the giveaway with the controller is the same guy who's on duty at this company providing this service is talking to all these other sim guys that are flying at the same time. So
Right.
he's giving instructions to people all over the world. He'll be talking to a guy and tell him that he's got to make this approach in Germany, and then he'll be talking to this guy. You need to climb and maintain to this fix
Hungry.
in California, and that wouldn't happen in real life. It wouldn't happen
He
in real
wants to
life.
eat.
Okay, well,
Chicken
go
hungry?
feed the dog then.
oh, hey.
Yeah. When they come up here to get me, I know what they're telling me now.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Well, if you go on YouTube, if you want to see this, if you go on
I
YouTube,
better, man, because this
just
that's
type
too
in,
bizarre.
just search for something like A350 simulator or
Wow.
a homemade
Actually-
flight simulator, and there are thousands of videos. And some of
Wow.
these guys will post a 4-hour video of their whole friggin' flight.
I just wanna know.
From
I got more subs
it's
than
un-
me. I'm in the wrong business.
DMAC,
Unbelievable.
Pond and Moore put a link on the chat of somebody who did that, so it might be easy for you to find.
Oh,
He says it's somebody who put it in a shed in England. Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I think
Okay.
there's more of them in Europe than there are here, but I like the one about the guy who actually documented the whole entire journey of buying the nose off of this wrecked airplane, storing it in his airplane hangar for 3 years, cutting it all up in pieces small enough to get into his basement, reassembling the whole thing and building this simulator that if you walk into this thing and you sit down and you swear you're sitting in the cockpit of a real airliner.
Wow.
Incredible.
You know what gets me? There's over a million views on this video.
There's
I'm
it's
doing
incredible the
something wrong.
views they get. Well,
Yeah.
just become a hermit, get a basement, spend the next 10 years of your life and all your money building one of these
Look at
things, and
this.
you too can get
I'm
a
looking at
million
the,
views.
he made a cockpit, a KLM cockpit. Oh,
Yes.
that's not real.
And
I gotta go,
interestingly
guys.
enough,
That's called passion.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
Brian,
I'll take it easy.
take it easy, buddy.
All right, bye-bye.
I wonder if they have a replica of the lavatory on the plane, and when they flush, it goes.
Yeah, I guarantee you, man. I guarantee if you can think about it, somebody's done it.
Oh man!
Uh,
You know, back in '95, I had the pleasure of entertaining our troops in Japan and South Korea, and when I was in South
got an
Korea,
echo,
I think
got
it
an
was
echo
at,
from somewhere.
the echo. Is that me?
Not anymore. It was before. Okay,
Okay.
I scared it. I scared the echo away.
Okay. Anyway, I think this was at Osan Air Base, and I got to get in the flight simulator of I think it was an F-14 or F-16. I mean, oh God! And I'm a little guy without a parachute. You know, the window is like right up here. And
Wait a minute. Did you actually go in the plane or a simulator?
The simulator.
And you were worried about a parachute?
No, when
Brian says, "Send me $10 super chat. Thanks, Miss Daisy." See what you guys have started.
Anyway, you were looking up at the window.
I did most of the flight through radar because I just couldn't see out the window. So I was able to take off, fly, and I found a bogey. So I'm tailing this bogey and shot off a missile, shot him down. And so I can't reach the rudder. My feet are so short. So everything I did was with the stick and throttle. And so, you know, they got everything is just like the real deal. And so I turn around, come back to base, and man, landing is really hard because I was coming in and it looked like it was going to be a nice landing. All of a sudden there's a crosswind and I overcorrected and got a wingtip in the ground and just cartwheeled down the runway after that. But that was that was the coolest thing I'd ever done.
These flight simulators, you know, are so realistic that pilots in training can actually log real countable hours and flight time.
Wow.
In simulators, and the astronauts same way.
Wow.
The simulators that they use train them for the real deal. I had when I had my Beech Baron.
Mm-hmm.
It's a twin engine airplane. I had the opportunity to go to a company in Orlando called Simcom, SIMCOM, and I think I don't remember exactly how I got it for free, but because of one of my customers in the computer business got me involved with these guys, and they had a Beech Baron simulator, full motion simulator.
Wow.
You know, the full motions, you've seen them. They're big boxes. They got hydraulic things.
Yeah.
And they tilt and they rock and, you know, they make you feel like you're like Walt Disney. And I got a chance to fly that for an hour,
Wow.
and it was we were, I mean, and to practice really hairy stuff that you wouldn't practice in an airplane. You know,
Right.
you're full IFR. You're in the middle of setting up for to shoot an ILS approach. You're in the fog, and then they pull an engine on you. You lose one of the two engines.
Right.
That the kind of stuff that can happen in real life and usually results in somebody getting killed. But doing, practicing these things in a simulator, same thing with drones. It's a great way to practice it because,
Yep.
you get killed, you immediately get reincarnated, and it's terrific.
Yeah.
The simulator. That's why I like the drone simulators so much as a training tool. Plus, it's fun.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
was,
It's like fun. It's like a video
in the
game.
simulator yesterday and was doing pretty good, and then I got a little cocky and decided, I don't know if there's one where you have the wheel where the obstacles kind of scissor in and out and you fly right through it. I was able to fly right through that, and I was able to fly through a building that was under construction, go through one of the, that took several tries to get through that without crashing.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's
but
the idea.
That's good. That's the
Oh, let
idea.
me-
Carlos,
Or
I've been
did-
instructed by Jaybird to tell you, Carlos, to look at the chat.
Yes, those batteries are good, but on Amazon for $4 more, you get 4 650 milliamp batteries for like
Are
25
those
bucks.
GNB things?
Yes.
I hate every one of those GNB batteries I ever bought has puffed up on me,
Not me.
and none
I'm still
and
using
none of my other batteries puff. But those
RDQ
things-
also. RDQ also work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know which batteries turned out to be pretty good? The ones that come with the EMAX.
the 450s.
Yeah, those batteries, they never puff. They're just solid as
Okay.
can be. But I've got some 853 cell EMAX, not EMAX, the GMBs, and
I
they
have
puffed
those
a little
too.
bit. They puffed a little, but that's the battery that before I was telling you that little airplane. I'm going to put the lithium ions, but I don't have them yet for it. So an 853 cell in that little airplane ought to get me, I would say, about 20 minutes of flight. Which,
Cool.
got news for you. I have I showed you guys once. It's an old 15, 20-year-old big powered glider that
Yeah.
I took that out to the field this morning,
Uh-huh.
and I flew it till I just got tired of flying it. I put a 2200 3S in it and took it, hand launched it, climbed it up, and you pull the power off. And you can glide around for 5 minutes. It's coming down a little bit, and then you get down near the ground again, you give it power, climb back up again. You can fly that thing for, all morning like that.
Yeah.
And after about 20 minutes of staring up into that bright sky and flying around in circles and everything, I said, okay, that's enough of that. You come in late. So sometimes I think maybe these long flight times that we all talk about aren't all they're cracked up to be because
Yeah.
you can get
Well, I
bored.
should
After
get
a while, yeah.
FPV in it, and then that'd be kind of cool.
Well, you didn't see it, Art. You weren't here when I
No.
showed you this
Oh,
motor.
okay. So that's okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's ready to fly, and it's got that.
And
little
it's
F-
got
it's got-
oh, cool.
Oh,
Okay.
it's full iNav. It's got full iNav. This thing will fly missions, waypoint missions, return to
Nice.
home, altitude hold, course lock. It'll return to home. It's full GPS and it weighs 250 grams.
And make breakfast. Mitch, real quick, Tim
200
Robinson is saying good night, and Mr. Pond
Oh,
and
good
more.
night, Tim.
Oh, good night, Tim.
Good to
Have a
see
good
you,
night,
Tim. We
gentlemen.
haven't Good to see you again.
Hey, I
thi-
found something that I know that Ken Heron doesn't have.
What's that? A password. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. This is my new one, and this is the one that I got 30 years ago. And check out the photo
Is
of
that-
that guy.
Is
The
that
blonde
you?
hair.
That's
That's
me.
you? Holy mackerel!
Look at the long blonde hair on me.
You look.
You
You,
could
look,
see
and
him.
the big glasses too. Look at the size of those glasses you're
Yeah,
wearing.
that was, well, I mean, that was popular back then, the aviators.
He's got the
You know,
videos
Art-
of him doing comedy with blonde hair.
Yep.
I've seen him.
I still have my passport with from when I was in the army, and the picture was of me in uniform.
Wow.
And back in the '60s, when I was stationed overseas, we had to actually have passports.
No,
Yeah, and I still have that.
cool. Great.
Ray Kelly saying he has to renew his tomorrow, or his
Ah.
passport.
Okay.
It does, why, Ray? The world is, COVID's never going to go away. We're never going to be able to travel again anywhere. So why bother?
Yeah, this Florida is spiking again, delaying my trip
it's all-
over there.
It's all
Yeah.
bullshit.
You don't buy it? Oh,
Don't get me.
good.
Don't get me started.
All right,
I mean,
we won't
the
start.
shenanigans. That,
Don't do it,
yeah,
Mitch. Don't do it, Mitch.
It's happening, but the shenanigans they're pulling to make a political statement against.
Yep.
Art, do
against
you have to work
Trump.
all day with a mask on?
Yes.
Oh,
So you're not 6 feet away from your fellow worker?
Yes, I am.
absurd.
I'm,
And you still have
I-
to wear it.
Yep.
Wow.
My coworker, she's on the machine across from me, and we have our stations that are, there are like 4 in a pod, and there's four of them. With the cutbacks, we're down to 7 people in my department.
From?
Well, when I started working there 25 years ago, that was 20 people.
Wow.
Yep. Then
Wow.
over the years, it got cut down, and we were putting out more products with less people. We were, let's see, we went to 15. That was 13 for a long, long time. And then that was cut in half, and then we had a night shift. So we were back up over 10. And we just recently got rid of that night shift went away a year ago, but the other department, their night shift is gone. We don't have any night shift at the plant anymore.
wow.
So that's how
That's-
slow it is.
Now, by any chance, do you keep your nose covered, or you kind of cheat and leave it below so you can breathe
No, I-
somewhat normal? You keep your nose covered? Do you?
Yeah.
I can't take
I
it.
see these people walking around with the mask, their noses just hanging out over the top
Yeah,
of it.
I know. One of my coworkers, she's like
Yeah.
that, and you're supposed to have it fully covered. But
I refuse. I refuse. As much as I can get
I
away with
wear a
not
mask.
wearing it, I don't wear it.
I wear a mask in the grocery store.
That's
yeah,
That's
Same.
it. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
In the grocery store, and the main reason I wear the mask in the grocery store is so I don't get dirty looks from everybody.
yeah.
You know, who needs?
Actually, I went and got a haircut. I didn't wear a mask either.
Wait, whoa, Carlos.
Yes, sir.
Now, Mitch, you're always saying that I don't care what people think. Now you just told us you wear a mask because you don't want dirty looks.
So
Because what's going to happen is they're going to say something, then Mitch is going to have to tell him what he really
Yeah.
thinks about him, and
Yeah,
then that
very
avoids
much. Yeah, that-
conflict.
well,
Some
maybe I
of
should have
the-
maybe
I
I should have phrased that differently. It's not. I don't give a shit what they think, but I don't want the confrontation like
Oh,
Carlos said.
there you go.
I don't want to have somebody, in my face over something like that. And
Mitch, I think
knowing
your
me,
son's
knowing me,
answer.
it wouldn't end well. It would
Your
not
son's
end
answer
well.
was the best answer. Was it his mom that his mother-in-law with the hospital and carrying a weapon?
Oh, with the gun. Yeah.
Yeah, tell him that.
Did you? My son. I don't know if you heard this. My son. He had to take his wife to the doctor.
Oh, his wife.
So he takes his wife into the hospital or something. She was having back surgery. So or follow up on her back surgery,
Right.
and he's not wearing a mask. So he said, they said you need to wear a mask. He says that would be against the law. So what do you mean? He says, well, I'm carrying a gun, and it's against the law to wear a mask while you're carrying a gun.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
Do you want me to break the law? She goes, no. She looks at him and goes, no, it's okay.
I like that.
I think you should just carry. You should carry, Mitch. That's all.
And I think that I think that really is a law. That if you're carrying, you're not allowed to. You have to face that. You can't cover your face. So all of those people with carry permits that are carrying guns out there are breaking the law if they wear a mask.
It's the only time now that you can go into a bank with a mask too, right?
What to do?
Yeah.
I can't even go into my bank. My bank lobby has not been open since March, and they have by appointment. If you need to talk to a banker, you got to can't just go in and walk up to the teller window.
No,
Actually,
gotta
they
be done
have
through the
people
drive-through.
walking, and they have people walking through the drive-through. You don't have to have a car. I've seen bicycles and walk-ins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They walk up there, but the lobby, forget it. And in the bank, this in the bank, in the you know how there's a drive-through on one side of the behind the counter area, and then the customer windows on the other side. So, in other words, if you walk up to a window in a bank, if you look straight across the area where the tellers are, is usually where the drive-through people are, okay?
Yeah.
So here's this area in the bank. On one side is the drive-through with bulletproof windows, 3/4 of an inch thick, a drawer, to put the stuff in. On the other side of this room is the teller windows with 3/4 inch plexiglass bulletproof windows that go floor to ceiling.
Right.
And little tiny little spaces underneath where you can slip stuff you need to hand to them.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're wearing masks in there. She walks up to the drive-through in a mask. And I say, in the inside, I said, what the hell are you doing? You're in a room by yourself, surrounded by 3/4 of an inch of plexiglass, no human contact. You're wearing a mask. Why? She says, we have to.
Yeah.
That's how stupid this has become. That's how stupid this has gotten.
Nope. I walk into everywhere. I put my mask on my arm and I walk in without it until I'm told differently. I leave it off. I refuse.
I think that in order to make it really, I think I need to get a black mask with a white hand symbol like this, right on the front of it, where the finger goes right up onto my nose.
Actually, that looks like it's, or maybe it looks like it's picking your nose, so they don't get offended.
Glasses. Yeah, and that I would proudly wear that mask.
I like the idea.
Everywhere, I would wear that mask everywhere.
You need one that says MAGA on it.
That goes along with my avoiding conflict. Who needs that crap? Interestingly enough, along those lines, I don't know if you guys can see how my finger is bent a little right here.
Yeah.
See that's bent down just so. I jammed it long time ago.
Oh.
And no,
It's
40
stuck that
years
way.
ago, and it tore the tendon, and the finger was like this. That's how it looked. It just looked like that because the tendon had pulled it back straight.
These fucking fans.
Art, I'm telling this story is not to pity me. This is a funny story. So it's like this, okay? And I said, what the hell? I push it up and it flops back down again. All right. So the tendon's torn. So I said, oh shit, I got to go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital, walked in the hospital like this. And they said, well, there's really nothing we can do except splint it back. And you go, for like 3 months. Rick, are you talking? I can't hear you. Oh,
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. He's talking to somebody else. They said wear the thing for about 3 months, and however straight it becomes is how straight it's going to become. So they put this splint on the thing and pushed it way, way back, taped it all up. And there I am. I got this finger all with the bandage on it. And the last thing the doctor says to me is, keep it elevated. So I walk out of the hospital like this.
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm driving in my car and my hands up like this.
I like that.
No, it was true. It was true. And I took every opportunity I could to keep my finger elevated.
And in full vision, right? Or full view.
Yes, yes. Doctor's orders. I have a note. I have a note right here. Doctor says I have to keep my finger up in the air.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Rick, have you been playing with your Tinyhawk at all?
No, I'm just was trying to find it. I've just found it and I got it all plugged in,
Oh, okay.
charging it back up again. Well, I was
Good.
in the hospital. My sister decided to clean up everything on my table.
Ooh.
So
Uh-oh.
everything I knew where everything was.
Has
It's in a
changed.
box. It's in a box somewhere in the front room now.
Yikes.
Well, at least I know where my Mavic Air is.
You didn't find it yesterday?
No, I haven't been back since when was that Sunday when I went out there fishing for it. Yeah. I may go out there this weekend to try my luck again. See
You
if
know,
I
you could give you some videos for your fishing channel if you find it.
Well, you know what? I just may go do some fishing while I'm doing that.
All right, I have a question. I saw that fishing video where that lady helped you. What was your plan? Because I'm watching you putting the pole down and the net down at the same time, and I think you were kind of like flustered for a second,
Yeah, I was because
trying to figure out how to get that up.
yeah, because I'm up above the water, and being a little person, I'm like, oh crap, I can't even get to the water with the net,
Right.
and I didn't want to try to lift the fish up because the hook
Your line.
break and lose the fish. So,
Did you put the fish back or no? You did, right?
Yeah, I put it back.
And that's not, I'm just curious, that's not a long time to keep him out of the water? He's not going to have brain damage or something when you throw him in?
It's a carp. Carp are really resilient fish.
I hear you.
And yeah. So yeah, when I caught that big mirror carp, boy, that was huge.
Ed says, complete with the sound of labored breathing. Yeah, it sounded like a soft porn for a second there. Well, that was a good catch, though. Just consider that next time you go fishing. The game plan. How am I going to get this bad boy out?
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you if you're
guys.
flying because you got stuff doing, right? Did you play with your Tinyhawk? No, not really.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I've been on the sim and just having a blast. I will be
You know,
flying.
have you heard the expression you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, Carlos?
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to encourage.
All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you
Plant
guys.
a
I'm going to
seed.
show you guys because I'm going to show you guys because we're talking about fishing now. And the minute we start talking about fishing, I got to jump in and change the subject. Art. Look at Art. He doesn't know what to. I wanted to show you guys this. As you know, they just changed on the DJI FPV goggles. They changed the.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this thing sized right here.
Oh.
Here we go. So you can read. So you can read the bottom.
Right.
The bottom line. See this is the first flight that I did since the update on the DJI goggles that gave you 50 megabits of downstream. And I don't know how sharp this is going to look on YouTube, but I wanted to show you. This is the goggle video. Okay, and
Mhm. Yeah.
this I wanted to show you how. And again, I don't know if it's how sharp it's going to look, or how clear it's going to look. But this is actually the goggle feed,
Oh,
and you
off in
can
a
see
hurry
down.
not bad.
And look how sharp that video is. And
Yeah.
again, with my stupid feed to StreamYard, it might look a little fuzzy. In fact, it does. But it's absolutely incredible. There you go. Was that Miss Daisy for you enough,
Yeah.
Carlos?
I missed it because I'm looking at the chat.
You missed it.
I'm
All
sorry.
right.
Let me see. Go
All
ahead.
right. Here we go. Here we go. We'll do that again. Here. Keep an eye on it.
Nice power loop. And a roll. Very good. I tell you what, when you took off in a hurry. You got up really
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, I was having fun. This was
Which one is this,
quad
Mitch?
was this?
Yeah.
This was my that 5-inch one that I built with the Gep RC frame.
Okay.
Really doesn't have a name, but it does have the DJI system in it, and it flies just
It's
great.
fast.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I just whipping around there, but you can see the bit rate stays pretty solid at 50 megabits. See it down there on the. When you record a DJI flight in the goggles, it also saves what they call an SRT file, subtitle file, with the data from the flight, the signal strength, battery voltages, bit rate, delay, latency.
That was a
Hear
plane.
that echo again. One of you guys got something
Looks
playing.
like you missed an RC plane that was out there.
Oh yeah. There was some RC planes too,
Yeah.
but this thing got up and scooted. Here I
Quick.
come whipping by the flight line.
Is this a morning flight?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. This was early. This was early in the morning.
The sun looks like it's blazing.
And sometimes it's fun just to try to stay in one place. With the goggles on, practice hovering.
Mm-hmm.
That you do inside. Oops. That you do in the trees.
Yeah.
Hover in the trees.
See, look,
That's right
there's
there.
4 cars there. That's it. That's the morning crowd that comes out. Oh, I actually decided I was going to fly through these 2 trees
All right,
just for
Mitch.
you, Carlos.
Piece of cake, right?
And I actually went and slowed down a little bit just for the hell of it. See, just to make sure I get under. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
In fact, it's easier to do. The faster you go, the easier it is to do.
That's absolutely true.
But
Man,
tell me
that's
that
a
isn't
lot of field. That's so great to
tell me
fly.
that isn't an amazing place to have available
Yeah.
to fly.
And this is what, 15 minutes from you?
Yeah,
That's great.
about
Can't
8
beat
miles.
that. And this is some place that anybody can go. You got to belong to.
Yeah, no, it's a public park.
Yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
It's down fairly close to where Jim Boyd, Above and Beyond Drones, where he lives.
How busy is this in the winter when it's cooler? A little bit more.
It's not.
'Cause
It's
it's-
never busy. Nobody ever uses. Occasionally, the kids come out and practice on. They got baseball fields, soccer fields,
Right.
cricket fields. They got every kind of field known to
Wow,
man.
cricket even.
Yeah, they even got a cricket. What do they call a cricket place? They have a name for it.
Cricket place, cricket field. I don't
That's
know,
it.
but
That's probably
Mel.
that's got to be.
Mel
it.
joined you, and I believe Ron Lockwood joined you.
Oh, hey, Ron,
And they
Mel,
said
how
hi.
you doing? How you doing?
Hey.
So, at any rate, I was just talking about that. Anyway, that's
No,
I gotta. Yeah.
Mitch, you fly standing up for the most part, or sitting down?
No.
Sitting, right?
It's amazing. When I fly with goggles, I just like to sit down because I just like
Yeah.
to relax.
Yeah, yeah.
When I fly RC airplanes line of sight, I always stand it up.
Hmm.
But this little puppy just gets up and moves. So it.
Cool.
Yeah. So now I have to do something about this driving Miss Daisy nonsense.
Yeah, we got to kill that rep.
Yeah, we gotta get. And speaking of that, where's Ed? I thought he was gonna grace
He
us with
left.
some lifelines.
Nah,
oh,
he's
oh, he
lazy.
went over to Mike's. Went over to
He-
Mike's street. huh?
Probably, but he also has to unlock the VTX. He said he wanted to mess with the rates.
Oh,
Mitch, what do I have? Oops, what do I have to do to increase my roll speed on Beta Flight? Which is that one? Super rates?
no. There's there's a place. Yeah, all of the different, whether you got rates or super rates or expo, it all ends up resulting in a higher degrees per second. So if you want to roll faster, it depends on which version, because they've changed it now. They've done away with some of these. I think they did away with super rates on the latest. But on yours there, just start ticking up the super rate or the RC rate, either one, and watch the over
Right.
to the right where it says number of degrees a second, and bump it up until you get the degrees a second that you want.
And
The
it
rest
shows
of it
you
all
a
has-
picture. It shows you a picture of it rolling. I think you showed us
Shows you
that
the
once.
graphic
Right.
representation of the curve
Got it.
of the expo curve, and that's but it was confusing because you had RC rate, you had super rate, they all acted differently when the end result is degrees a second. And you should only have two things to be concerned with. You should only have to be concerned with how many degrees a second am I rolling, and how much expo do I have. Those are the two things you need to think about. The RC rate and super rate just confused everybody. So in the latest versions of Betaflight, they've changed the whole protocol of how that's entered. It turns out to be the same entries, but the graphical interface shows it to you differently. What do you like to fly in your rates?
I just fly stock. I don't even really pay attention. I just adapt
do you
to whatever
even-
it is.
Do you even know what it is?
No,
Oh,
No.
okay.
I haven't
When's the
bothered
last
looking.
time you plugged your thing into Betaflight?
A while, many batteries ago.
Yeah.
But that's the
Well,
next
that's what
thing I'm
happens.
gonna
If
do.
it ain't, what's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I just maybe want to increase the Tinyhawk 2 roll rate. Other than that, it flies perfect. I'm happy
Yeah,
with it.
it's real easy to do. I have my little Tinyhawk here. There it is. Here, I'll take a second and show you real quick. Let me get it plugged in here. Got the Tinyhawk 2 and
660 per second.
did you plug yours in?
No, I'm listening. Sorry, I'm reading
Oh, okay.
EBR. He said that's about 660 degrees per second. Cricket grounds. That's what they call it, I guess. Rates 1.0 and super rates 0.7 is what Mr. EBR is putting down there. Now, you didn't mess with this at all. This is stock, what we're looking at, or what we're going to look at.
No, I don't remember. I think I may have adjusted it, but let me.
Gotcha. You also probably want to make your screen bigger and get rid of us.
Well, I think what's happening here is I'm having a
Oh, that's stock.
conflict.
Okay.
I'm having a conflict with my my Betaflight is. Oh, okay, I got it here. All right.
It's not cooperating.
It's not picking up the port. It might be that I just got too many different serial devices going on here at one time. There it goes. Okay. Connect. Go over to
There you
pig
go.
tuning.
We can
All
barely
right,
hear
and-
you. Mitch.
Big screen.
Yeah,
There
that's
you go.
because I'm not I'm not wearing a mic. Let me big
Okay.
screen it
Yeah.
here for you. Anyway, what you have is you go here to now this is the new version of Betaflight. What
Mhm.
version do I have on this thing? I have 4.1. Is that what you have? So you go to rate profile settings, and you have rate and super rate. Okay, and
I see
over
what-
here on this column right here, it says 800. Mine says 800, 800, and 400. So my Tinyhawk is 800 degrees a second. If I bump up either the rate or the super rate, you'll see that number now went to 813, went to 820. But the rate and the super rate affect the curve a little differently.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't really matter because you see the curves are going to stay pretty flat until you get to about 60-degree stick throw, and that's when you start. That's the expo right there. So
Right.
on this graph here, what you're looking at is that center stick.
Center. Yeah.
This is full right stick, okay? This is 50% stick. So it's showing you that at half stick, and this is the roll rate right here. So at half stick, if the full scale is 800 degrees a second, then at about half stick, you're only getting less than 100, looks like less than 100 degrees a second. So you're not going to start to really get that kind of a curve, speed until you start getting way over towards the right-hand side of the stick.
So
See?
to get it
That's
to
what that
start
curve is.
sooner, what would you do?
You'd want to decrease the expo, and that's the setting right here, RC expo. So if I started decreasing the expo, see what happens to
Got it.
see what
yeah.
happens to
So it
took
starts
down
sooner.
to 0. Yeah, and I got mine set at 30. But if you play with the rates and super rates and expo, you could eventually create just a straight line.
Got it.
But that's not a good way to fly. You want
A little
when the
push.
stick is closer to center, you want it to be much less sensitive because it gives you much finer control
Right.
than when you're just slamming the stick over to the side. But there is a column here that says expo, and you can reduce the pitch, the roll, and the yaw expo right here. I like the feel of this on the Tinyhawk because if I slam the stick over it 800 degrees a second, it's tumbling. But if I'm just trying to fly smoothly, my sticks aren't overly touchy. So I hope that
EBR
answers.
says yours aren't stock.
No, I don't think so. I think I fool with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, stock was a little too
Docile on the
too
roll.
docile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now there's a lot of guys. The racers. It's interesting because the guys who race, a lot of the big time racers, guys like Vanover and them, they keep their maximum rates at about 400 degrees a second because they're not interested in rolling 3 complete times in 1 second.
Right.
Guys, some of the freestyle guys do, but then other freestyle guys I hear are running 11, 12, 1300 degree a second rates. So it's
Personal
I
preference.
don't know. I don't think there's really any right or wrong way. It's what you like.
Personal preference.
Yeah, I like a little. I don't like too much expo. In airplanes, I don't like too much expo. But in the quadcopters, just about what I have in the Tinyhawk. Where that first 20% of the stick does very little, and then it starts to come in after that. And one of the things is whatever you start with and get used to, it's not something you want to keep changing all the time. Because once you learn and you get used to how it reacts, then your
wanna
muscle
stick
memory
with that.
takes it. You want to stick with that. Just me hop. Hey, Chris. He likes 1035, and that's very snappy. Now there is a certain point where no matter what you dial in, the quad is just physically not capable of delivering those kind of roll rates. I mean, there is a limit, and it's not so much on quads, but in airplanes, when you set up an airplane in INAV, one of the things you have to tell it is what the roll rate to the airplane is, not what you want it to be. But an airplane will only roll so fast. So what you do is you take the airplane up line of sight, and you roll it, and you count time how long it takes to do a couple of rolls, and then calculate what what the airplane is capable of in degrees a second, and you put that into the INAV software so that at no time does the flight controller try to command a faster roll rate than the machine is physically capable of. Because what happens is something called I term I-term windup happens on quads, and a similar thing happens on fixed wing.
Right.
And you've heard PID. You know what that is: proportional, integral, and derivative. What the integral part of that is, the proportional says we're here, and the rate, and he just commanded a stick movement of 200 degrees a second. So the quad tries to get to 200 degrees a second roll rate. And the proportional gain is like how much gas you're given in your car. You know, how much extra power are we giving the motor to get it to there. That's what proportional gain is. And too much proportional gain, a lot of times you'll overshoot. Not enough proportional gain, you'll never get to what you really want. The I gain, the integral gain, basically is constantly comparing the error between what you're commanding and what you're getting over time. So
Right.
The I gain is kind of like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, give it a little more. Are we there yet? No, give it a little more. We there yet? No, give it. Now this is happening thousands of times a second, but what it's doing is it keeps increasing the power to the motors because they're not quite there yet. Now what happens is if you've got something, a mechanical, keeping you from ever getting where there is, then that I term is going to keep increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing because it's adding on. It's cumulative. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying here. It's not. It's a hard thing to explain. But the I term keeps looking to see, are we at 200 degrees a second yet? No. All right. Add a little more motor speed. Are we at 200 degrees a second roll rate yet? No, add a little more motor speed. So what happens is if the machine is not capable of 200 degrees a second, no matter how much power, that I term will keep adding and adding power until something blows up, until it blows out the motors or something. It's just not going to get there. And they call that I term wind up. That's the phrase for it. And sometimes it'll cause, because of bad filtering and other, they call a flyaway. Quad will just take off because the I term is wound up and commanded tremendous amounts of power. So they have all kinds of ways to handle this, things called I term relax, stuff like that. But that's why it's important that even though, for example, you set, like Chris did, a roll rate of 135 degrees a second, it's possible. That's almost 3 complete turns per second. 3 complete rolls a second. Little almost. Airplanes can't roll that fast, but quads might be able to. But you don't want to set your roll rates or your settings higher than what the machine is capable of, because it will cause the flight controller to try and overpower to make something happen that is physically not possible. There you go. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me the D again. What does the D stand for?
That's derivative.
Derivative. All right. That's the only thing I wanted to know. The word.
Yeah. That's another one of those long-term explanations. We'll do that another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, airplanes are so different. The difference between airplanes and quads, the big difference is because airplanes are stable and quads are not. Airplanes don't need constant correction every millisecond, because an airplane will pretty much keep flying until something disrupts it.
Yeah.
A quad, that has to be constantly, the different motors have to be adjusted, what is it, 8K? 8,000 times a second. The thing analyzes what's going on and decides how much power each motor needs to have.
Mm-hmm.
So with airplanes, when you're Carlos.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. that just for Mel.
Yeah,
Holy
that's.
cow.
I mean, it sounds like Darth Vader is in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jesus. Yeah. Sounds juicy too, man. Well, you're sucking it up right next to the microphone, wherever it is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, enough technical talk for tonight. We'll save
Yeah.
we'll save that. We'll save
There
that
we
for,
go. My head is hurting.
it does make your head hurt. It takes a while to get your
To
to get
soak
your head
it
around
in.
it, and then
I feel
And
like,
then when it comes
no,
to-
not calculus again.
Then when it comes
Oh,
to
you're using
tuning-
that derivative word again.
yeah, when it comes to tuning,
Cosine and
what I really like is all these guys that put out these videos on how to tune. They all start out with all this theory, and then when they actually get to tune, and none of the theory really ever
Works.
means anything. You know? Yeah, never. It's I don't know what these guys are looking for in tuning these quads. Some of the professional, the guys, the big time guys, they're looking for mid throttle oscillation. They're looking for whether when you give it full power, you maintain the same attitude, or the nose drops, or the nose. There's so many different settings, and every setting interacts with everything. So it's pretty much a trial and errors. As you tweak a little something, you take it up, see if it flies. And half the time, I think that it's got to be in your head. The obvious things, prop wash oscillation. When you come, if you're coming down hard and you give it a bunch of throttle, okay, and right when it gets to the bottom, the quad goes. That oscillation, that's something you want to tune out. But if it's oscillating like this, it has a different cause than if it's oscillating like this.
Right.
You know, one of them might be P term is too high, another one might be D term is too low. So it's an art. I think that tuning these things is an art rather than a science, and you learn, and it's only by experience that you learn in doing it. And I don't particularly care to do that. I find these days that the stock PIDs on most of the new Beta Flight work fine. And if I happen to get a tiny little shudder on a real hard maneuver, I'm afraid that if I start screwing with all these things, I'll actually make it worse. You know, than make it better. You know, it's like when you're painting. You ever paint something and you gotta like you mask something off to get a nice sharp line where you paint it, and you pull off the masking tape and you see there's one teeny little thing that isn't quite right, so you're gonna go fix it, and you go in there to fix it, and by the time you're done, you've screwed up the whole thing, and nobody would have noticed it in the first place. That's what I feel about tuning these quads.
Well, speaking of oscillations, when you're riding a skateboard down a big hill at the age of 14, 15, and you're going straight down. You're not slaloming. You're just going,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of lean one way, and all of a sudden, and then fast.
It starts to wobble.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
go flying off and land in the gutter, skinning up your elbow or your knuckles.
Let me address what some of these guys are saying in the chat here. So Chris says that everything shows up in your footage, and most of that stuff does. But if like so many of these guys are shooting with GoPros, that's all so highly stabilized that all that stuff never makes it into the final cut anyway, and it all just looks smooth. And then EBR said he has someone tuning his quads using black box logs. Now, black box logs would be the real way to really tune your quad. It's just very technical, and you got to really understand what you're doing. But you can actually everything that happens, every cycle of the PID loop and the stick inputs are all mappable, and you can create graphs that show you what's happening. And you can see I commanded stick, but the gyro was falling behind here, and I could see that it overshot, and I could see right here where it did that little ringing thing, and that's where the quad shook. And that can be tuned out. It's just you got to do a flight.
Am I?
You got it.
Are you whistling? You're whistling.
No.
Yeah, his mic is so close to his nose. I hear a whistle.
Okay. Can I finish my thought, please?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
He felt the need.
If I get interrupted, yeah, if I get interrupted, then I forget where I was and it all goes poof. The problem with black box tuning is you better have a lot of time. You got to go, and you better be able to fly right where you are, because you got to have to do a flight, record the black box, take the SD card out of the thing, and put it in your computer, load black box viewer, chart out what you want to see, analyze it, say, okay, I think I need to increase my P gain a little bit. Increase your P gain, go back out, put it back in the quad, and do this, I don't know how many, 10, 20, 30, 40 times. That's a lot of work. So you got to be a perfectionist for that. And then what happens is you get all this beautiful fine tuning done, and then you have a prop that gets a little bent and induces yet a different kind of vibration, and then your whole tune goes to hell. Mihab says you need to tune so you don't kill your motors. Yeah, that's very true. And one of the things that everybody should do when they install or upgrade a version of either Betaflight or iNav is go out and always feel your motor temperature after the flight. Mm-hmm. That's very important. If it's too hot to touch, you got a problem and you need to fix it. If it's warm or hot but not too hot, you're probably okay, depending on how hard a flight you had. And generally what happens is that's a function of filtering and determ. It's going to be one or the other, or a combination, as far as what I understand. So you can also hear that. You can hear by the sound of the motor whether it sounds smooth or rough, and that can be not enough gyro filtering, sending too many changes too fast to the motors, and burn up motors. Again, if you have the stock tune, chances are that doesn't happen. But I know some of these guys. I'm sure Chris is much better flyer than me, been at it longer than me, probably teach me a thing or three about this stuff. So I don't profess to know at a professional level. I'm beginning to get a grasp of it. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. It won't hurt my feelings.
Tuning
all right,
is like
Art.
Go ahead.
All right.
It's time for you to go. Time for you to go, buddy. I don't want you sitting there going like this. Gotta go back. Thanks for coming in, Art.
See ya, Carlos. You guys
Keep
have
smiling.
great evening. I'll catch you over at that other guy's place.
No, you won't.
Yeah, we won't mention any names.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later, buddy.
Adios.
There he goes.
Such a comedian.
Well, he is.
Unemployed.
He is a comedian. Yeah, that's what I always say. That's what I say to people when they're not funny sometimes. Not that Art isn't funny, but I'm talking about other people. I say, did you know there's 10,000 unemployed comedians in this country right now? At any rate, it is.
I'm going to
almost
take the
time.
rest of the day off, Mitch. Give my
All
back
right, I
a
think you
straightening
should,
out.
Carlos. Okay, and thanks for coming in, buddy. Always enjoy it. I hope
I like having
you
fun
guys
with Mitch.
enjoyed being in. And Mel is here, and I was hoping Mel would
Take
come
it
in
easy,
for a few
Carlos.
minutes.
Adios, amigos. Be good,
See
guys.
you, Carlos.
Be well.
So we'll see you, Mel. We'll see you on Sunday. I wanted to talk to you about your fixed wing adventures and see how you were doing. At any rate, it's almost time for us to wrap it up. Rick, I'm sorry we couldn't get your problem solved,
Hey, that's not a problem at all. We'll get it figured out.
but I am glad to see that you're doing better. And I got to tell you, you look 1,000% better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been feeling real good for the last few days.
Good. Well, you had that surgery done,
Yeah.
and the results. I mean, I've known guys that went from near death to running marathons because when they get those blockages out of there. So I'm hoping that
That part is taken care of. It's other
Really,
stuff
yeah.
that I got, but I got to work with that.
well, one thing at a time. But you do look
Yep.
better. I'm glad to hear you're doing better, and I just want to get you flying with us with the so we.
I would do. I got to get flying.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, you take
Tired
care.
of talking.
Thanks for coming in. Always good to see you.
All right. You take care.
All right.
See everybody
care.
in the chat. Take care, guys.
There we go. And it's just me. And it's getting to be that time. So let me say thank you to the guys. I hope you all enjoyed our little show about nothing and everything. Carlos, thanks for coming in. EBR, thanks for coming in. Thanks. I know it's late where you are, but I appreciate you staying up. Rick, appreciate you coming in too. Chris, thanks for the feedback. And Michigan Adventures is here. How you doing? Mel, good to see you. Good to see you, Mel. Jody's still hanging around, and let's see. Oh, Bill, Metro Drones is still here. Catch you later, buddy. Thanks again for the super chat. Let me go back up here and see whose name might still be hanging around. It says I still got a dozen people here. I don't want to leave anybody out. EBR, Rick Halber. I think I got just about everybody that was still here at this late hour. So with that, we'll put all this stuff to bed, get a little music, and tell you guys, take the rest of the day off. Summertime, go play with your drones. Have a great time. And I know I am. I'm going flying tomorrow morning, going to take this tiny little airplane out and see what happens. And maybe I'll have some videos on Sunday to show you whether it worked or whether it went into a horrible crash and destroyed the city and life as we know it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my trusty sidekick, Spank, the monkey, and we'll let him say goodnight. Say goodnight to the folks, Spanky.